It's Ron Reader Digs the Universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and tonight, shutting down the Marion County Record. Last Friday, the entire Marion, Kansas police force raided both the offices of local weekly, the Marion County Record, and the home of its owners, Eric Meyer, a journalism professor, and his 98-year-old mother, Joan Meyer, seizing essentially everything they used to publish their newspaper, effectively shutting them down. Eric Meyer had been covering the interaction between a local business owner and a state representative. In the course of his investigation, he received some information from a confidential source which seemed fishy to Meyer, so he handed this information to the police, which presumably somehow resulted in this raid. Marion police say they're investigating identity theft, but have not explained why they are in apparent violation of a federal law forbidding such searches and seizures of journalists, as well as being in violation of First Amendment press protections, just, more generally. Oh yeah, I've got to mention how the raid so utterly freaked out Joan Meyer that she fucking died the day after the raid. So this is some real bullshit. While totally horrible for the Meyer family, I'm sure it becomes totally horrible for all of us when you look at this raid in its social and historical context. Thus far, the 2020s has been a decade of book banning fueled by a right-wing hysteria about les, gay, bi, trans, queer people and about race. I mean, we've seen harassment and intimidation of librarians, for Christ's sake. We've seen right-wing attacks on education, right-wing attacks on black history, on gay and trans youth and their parents, teachers and doctors being villainized, neo-Nazi hate groups coordinating with Republican politicians, a sprawling right-wing conspiracy to overthrow our Constitution, our democracy. Clearly, we have an enormous fascism problem. So, while there are unique local circumstances surrounding the police raid on the Marion County Record, that there was a police raid on a newspaper covering local politics at all makes it part of our enormous fascism problem. It's ironic to me, the news media debate about whether Trump and MAGA are actually fascist. I recall a political scholar on MSNBC saying that the Republicans are not fascist because they have not taken over the mass media, without addressing the fact that Nazis were Nazis well before they took over the mass media in Germany, or that today's huge right-wing media apparatus serves many, if not most, of the same goals that ownership of all media would serve. I've just gotta point out that shutting down a troublemaking news organization and the chilling wave of intimidation that doing so creates is a dramatic step in the direction of mass media control. I wonder what my political scholar on MSNBC would say about this. Maybe she would be a little less leery of using the F word, because democracy, our way of life, absolutely depends on the free flow of information. Sure, there are issues in the internet age with disinformation and misinformation, but generally, if we don't know what's going on, we can't do democracy. In stark contrast, fascism absolutely depends on controlling the flow of information. That's what conservatives are all about these days, and it's coming to a town near you. I'm Ron Reader. And this has been Ron Reader Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reader, again next week for another episode of Ron Reader Digs the Universe.